have you ever wondered how Lycaon could be so kind and devoted, then so cold-hearted towards his partner? Well, what if I told you that there's so much more to this scene, and Lycaon as a whole, than you know? That is what I'm gonna discuss today. Of course, this is all my personal analysis of his character and backstory, but once I realized these things, everything that had once confused me about him suddenly made so much sense. First, Lycaon is not holier than thou. He has his inner demons too. As a wolf Thyran, the moon can cause him to become more aggressive, hence this line.
Don't look straight at the moon.
Literally. This official post says, Mirage lunacy. Whenever the full moon shines through a glass surface, those wolf Thyran lurking among us transform into bloodthirsty ethereals in the mirror's reflection. And not only that, but he can't relate to the experience of having blood relatives, and seemingly grew up with no family. He was a wolf without a pack, running wild and astray. He probably never learned how to control himself, but more importantly, never had a reason to. Jack taking him in and mentoring him changed that. Finally, someone truly believed in him and treated him like family. Jack gave him a set of values to live by, a person to be loyal to, and a reason to learn to control himself. As a wolf Thyran, his instincts are extreme loyalty, so he hung on Jack's every word. He took what Jack said to heart, but he also trusted Hugo implicitly. He even got down on one knee and pledged to always remain loyal to his companion. So, what gives? Well, notice how he never once says that he thinks Hugo is evil, nor does he wish to pass judgment on what Lycaon thought or his actions. That night, he simply thought that Hugo had broken the oath they made together and was beyond reasoning or saving. He wanted to save Hugo, but he knew he could not. Jack told him to basically take Hugo down if he ever broke that oath, and that was the last thing Lycaon wanted to have to do. So, when push came to shove, in his shock, all he could do was avoid that task and leave. To him, seeing his partner go down the wrong path was probably the most heartbreaking thing Lycaon could imagine for him.
I believe any path that makes you feel pain must be the wrong one.
After he left, he continued trying to help others caught up in the Hollow disaster. In the process, he lost one eye and both of his legs. He was probably on the brink of death, with the injuries alone making that probably one of the most traumatic nights of his life. Afterwards, he was accepted into the care of the Mayflower family. During this time, he probably had to spend a long time recovering from his injuries, and from the pain of having left his partner, the only person he cared about. He had to move on somehow. And that he did. As Lycaon left them in the past, Hugo and Mockingbird became phantoms that would have otherwise haunted him. He had a new life now. He thought Hugo had fallen and would no longer be able to heal or be safe around others. Why would Lycaon jeopardize his life and the lives of those around him? Besides, we don't even entirely know what Hugo did after that. For all Lycaon knew, Hugo could have disappeared, and he would be chasing a ghost while still relearning how to walk. Now, to circle back to his wild side. Lycaon has an underlying sense of aggression and wildness, which he did not hide from Hugo and Jack back then. And despite how gruff Lycaon may seem with Hugo, it's evident that he has strong feelings and cares immensely for the man, even to this day. In fact, that very gruffness is how we know this is the case. See, around Hugo, Lycaon can be himself without needing to perform. He isn't a butler, attendant, or caretaker, but a former partner. Their shared past and deep connection mean that Lycaon is also less able to control himself around Hugo, as he simply can't separate himself enough. I actually think that because it was Hugo, he was unable to suppress his natural instincts and aggression. To give an example, Lycaon has no issues whatsoever controlling his strength around regular enemies. Yet, when formulating the plan to fake Hugo's death, Lycaon was worried that he wouldn't be able to. And this wasn't some hypothetical concern, but a genuine fear he had. And during that encounter, there were countless factors that could have caused Lycaon to become emotional and frenzied. We even see this happen clearly when his eye flashes red in response to Hugo acting like a villain. It wasn't necessarily that he thought Hugo was truly becoming evil, as Jack had warned, as the scene implied to the player. Lycaon knew it was all an act, and recognized the code the two of them had set all those years ago that proved it. No, I'm willing to bet that seeing Hugo act like that actually brought a deep emotional wound to the surface. The moment that his trusted mentor told him Hugo would very likely fall into immense pain, and that Lycaon would have to take him down. Eventually, years later, he slowly learned that Hugo was not as he had thought. They've since reconciled and worked through many of their issues. Now, they work together frequently and are involved in each other's personal lives. They both have established themselves and found new families and purposes, and are thus free to do as they please. They are no longer bound to each other alone as they were back then. Lycaon may seem hypocritical and self-righteous, but his morals and actions have very specific causes, and he hides his reasonings as much as he hides his wild side. I personally respect and understand Lycaon more after reaching this perspective. Feel free to let me know your opinion about our mysterious werewolf butler here in the comments. And I hope that this video has given you some new insights into his character and past. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourself today. Goodbye.